Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this. This is LK Live. This is SmackDown Live review. I'm the host, LK from KocoSports.net. That's KocoSports.net. It's where the world goes to get cash home for combat sports and above all, where it's okay to be a passionate fan. And from this passionate fan to you, I want to hear what you, the passionate fan, give this SmackDown. Do you give this show a win? Do you give this show a loss? Or do you give this show a tie? Me personally, now, I'm going to give this show a weak win. I think it was better than Raw, probably because it was 2 hours, but there was lots on this show I liked. We're slowly but surely heading towards No Mercy. Next week's show, there are some questions that need answering, which, again, I always talk about on these weekly shows. There needs to be questions that make me want to tune in next week to find the answers. We have a World Championship match next week. We had a title match on this show. Enough. We'll break this down, so I want to hear what you guys have. Put in the comments, is this show a win? Is this show a loss? Or is this show a tie? So we are from Birmingham, Alabama. Sammy Sinister, member of the KocoSports team, he was at this show, and he'll be doing a review later on tonight for you. That'll be a PG family-friendly version, because I swear and curse my fucking ass off. So, show starts off. We have Daniel Bryan. He comes into the ring. Well, he's already in the ring. Bryan announces a contract signing for the SmackDown Women's Championship at No Mercy. Becky Lynch comes out. Bliss comes out. Obviously, it's Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss, because Bliss won the 5-woman match last week. They bicker. Champion, and Bliss says Lynch was born to be a loser. Lynch says she may not be born to be a champion, but she worked her ass off for it. I didn't particularly like this at all. And I may not be the biggest Becky Lynch fan of all time, may not even particularly enjoy her stuff, but I just thought this came across as really, lame and just a way to get the crowd to get behind her. And that's just how I saw this anyway. Bliss says, however, she was born to be a champion and calls her a one-hit wonder, hits her, throws the table at her, walks off. As she's on the ramp, Lynch attacks Alexa Bliss, walks back in the ring, signs contract, match made official. Not too bad. Oh, sorry, I had a fucking hair in my mouth and it kept annoying me. And I've got this thing in my mouth. It's called a soother. So if you hear any sucking noises, it's not me sucking a cock. If you're not watching the video version, I have it's called tonsillitis. Okay, it's where your tonsils swell up. I have that right now. I could be resting, but no, I wanted to do my SmackDown Live review, so I just bought a pack of soothers earlier on before the shop shut. And let's just stick with it and hope that I don't fucking die. Not bad for a contract signing. It's not Dave Koco. Like, if I was Koco here, this should already be a loss because I had a contract signing. It wasn't bad. There was physicality. The contract did get signed. But if you guys didn't realize, every single contract signing, the authority figure always says, and they always say this, we are not going to get violent. We're just going to be civil. We're not going to get violent. And then like, oh, okay, this is going to end in violence. And it always does. But it's still kind of new to me to see women have the contract signed. It's not sexist in any way, shape, or form. It's just, I'm not used to seeing the one get this much promotion. And that's not a negative thing. I mean, Bliss versus Lynch. I may not be the biggest Becky Lynch fan, but I'm a fan of Bliss. I've been for a while, so I'm interested to see what kind of match they can put together. I don't think we've actually ever seen Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss one-on-one, because when Lynch was having her NXT run with the main four with Bayley, Charlotte, and Banks, Bliss was with Blake and Murphy when they were the tag team champions. So that's just interesting to see how she will do in her first run. So we have the Usos versus American Alpha. I didn't catch this, but apparently this is a number one contenders match for the tag team titles. I didn't catch that, but apparently it is. I will, quite frankly, never, ever, oh, not a good idea there. Oh, that was really not a good idea. I tried to get really high pitched, and as you can tell, I just kind of really croaked out on that. It was quite embarrassing. Ever like the Usos. I'm sorry if you're the biggest Uso fan. Even if you're a Rikishi watching this, I don't give a fuck. I hate the Usos with an unalterated passion. Now, what worries me about SmackDown Live? We have some of my favorite pro wrestlers on the planet here. You have AJ Styles. You have, if you build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you get Randy Orton. You know, there is lots of talent I love. American Alpha, which are in this match, which I'll get to in a minute. But at the same time as that, there's also the people I hate the most who are on SmackDown Live. Zack Ryder, Mojo Rawley, the Usos. They're pretty bad. Enzo and Cass, they're on Raw. So they're still kind of split 50-50 about people I don't particularly enjoy. But it just worries me because Usos, Hype Bros in the tag division, that's a third of the tag division I automatically hate. I automatically hate 1/3 of the tag team division. That's a worrying thing. But again, I'm an honest guy. Usos American Alpha, I thought this was a damn entertaining match. Gable, very intense. Obviously, he's just come back from his injury. He goes straight for the Usos the minute he gets back in that ring. Slater and Rhino are watching backstage. Rhino's there. He's like, I thought that was absolutely fucking hysterical. Just watching him eat crackers, absolutely hysterical. Usos is working the leg. Gable's selling. It's magnificent. And one word that comes to mind when I'm trying to put this over to you: believable. Chad Gable's selling in this match was believable. That is a really big fucking compliment, if you ask me personally. To say that that's believable, I think that's a really damn big compliment. But it's just interesting to see how, Gable didn't come from the Indies. He came from Olympics to NXT, the developmental system. So they're him, much like Baron Corbin, who's also on SmackDown on this show. They're WWE people. Like The Miz is a WWE guy. He's not a wrestler, he's a WWE guy. Gable's one of them. And he really, really picked up the art of selling very well. Like, I remember Kurt Angle when it was his first year in WWE back in 2000, because I'm rewatching some of the old Attitude Era pay-per-views, and his selling was really, really good. So maybe that's the type of people who pick up on things like this very quick, and I think psychology sometimes isn't picked up very well, but Gable really well here. Jordan with a hot tag. He is one of the best hot taggerers in the business. I mean, I was trying to think of a better hot tag than Alpha. Maybe Bucks, maybe Young Bucks, maybe is a better hot tag, but the explosiveness, the intensity in Jordan. I think this is why Gable and Jordan match so well, just the intensity, and they're so, again, to use this, believable. They look believable. They look like wrestlers. They look like a tag team. They wear the same gear. They finish each other's lines. I like it. I'm a big fan of Alpha. Usos hit a splash off the top for 2, and Gable broke this up for the 2. And we don't praise the camera work very much here on KocoSports. We really don't, because Kevin Dunn's a toilet. But the camera angle was placed right at the cover, so when Gable made the jump, because obviously he couldn't run and do it because he's selling the leg, he ran and jumped and just scraped in, but the camera stayed on the pin, so you just saw him jump in, and it looked absolutely magnificent. I thought it was generally going to be over, but really good camera work there. When Kevin Dunn's doing his job right, something good's going on. Jordan wants out, and he needs to tag out. He really does need to tag out, but Gable's on the apron. He's still setting the leg. So, Jordan looks over, and it was magnificent storytelling. He looks over as in, oh shit, I'm going to make the tag, but I just can't, because look at your leg. And then it was the confusion in his eyes, and you can see, oh, what have I got to do? What have I got to do? But then he walks in to a super kick. One of the Usos, I don't know their names because I don't want to know. It's Jimmy or Jay, one of them. Hit a really nice chop block on Chad Gable. And then a splash off the top got the win there for the Usos. And as I just said earlier on, I'm not a fan of the Usos. If hating the Usos is wrong, I never want to be right. But that was enjoyable. So we now have the Usos versus Rhino and Slater at No Mercy for the SmackDown tag belts. I reckon my prediction for this. I reckon it's going to be American Alpha versus the Usos versus Slater and Rhino at No Mercy. The American Alpha dropping this feud, because Gable, excuse me, sorry, my tonsillitis is playing up really bad, sorry. Oh, it hurts a little bit, I'll be honest. Slater and Rhino, they're with the Usos, that's guaranteed, that's made a set in stone. Alpha now, their position on the show is they need to get their comeuppance, they have to get their payback on the Usos. So maybe they do the Usos versus Slater and Rhino, then the Usos win, then you do just a rematch at the next pay-per-view, then a big pay-per-view, maybe Survivor Series. We get the Usos versus Gable and Jordan. Maybe that's what will happen. But I could also see this Alpha Uso State of Rhino, because I can't picture American Alpha being not on No Mercy, because that would be the second straight pay-per-view in a row where they're not on, unless they do another injury angle, which would just be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, they could be on the pre-show against the Ascension, but no one particularly wants to see that. We are backstage. Speaking of State of Rhino, this is funny. So Rhino's still got his crackers, okay? State and Rhino cut promo. The Usos interrupt. Usos threaten to knock the crackers out of Rhino's hands. Rhino gets pretty offended over that and says, "Don't you dare." Gets the crackers, crushes them, and then fucking Usos walk off. I thought that was fucking hysterical. It was serious, but at the same time it was funny. So I was entertained. And at the same point, it done its job, and that's make me want to see Heath Slater and Rhino versus the Usos at No Mercy. Absolutely brilliant. So just let me spit this soup out of my mouth. Oh, dude, so you had to see that. It was either that or I don't do the damn show, and I wanted to do the show because I'm in a momentum roll. Once I keep the momentum going, that's all that matters. If I lose my voice by the end of this show, thank me later. So we had Baron Corbin come out, faces Apollo Crews in a rematch from Backlash, and what I thought was a very underrated match at Backlash. The Backlash match was much better than this. The Backlash match got a lot more time than this. Jack Swagger was on commentary for all 6 of you who care, including Jack Swagger's mum and dad and granddad and maybe brother or sister. Corbin here, it's difficult. It's really difficult with Baron Corbin. Lots of people like him. Lots of people hate him. I'm on the fence. Now, I always talk about honesty. I'm not a fan of Enzo Cass, and I admit that. I love Randy Orton. Not a lot of people do. With Corbin, sometimes I like him, sometimes I don't. When he picks up the intensity like this, I quite like him. I was a fan of Baron Corbin here against Apollo Crews, and I'm a fan of Crews. He really nailed in. The intensity was picked up times 10. And this is going to scare a lot of you. When they did the stare down after Corbin got the win at the end of days very quickly, there was a stare down between Baron Corbin and Jack Swagger. And I actually wanted to see Jack Swagger and Baron Corbin wrestle. Next week, this is what I want to happen. Jack Swagger versus a heel that may be one of the Vaudevillains or one of the Ascension. Jack Swagger gets the win on one of them. And then a stare down between Jack Swagger and Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin can be on commentary, putting his character over of being a lone wolf, being an imbecile. Again, this time a brawl. Brawl where there's refs and agents separating them. 2 big men beat the shit out of each other at the pay-per-view. No Mercy, I want to see these 2 beat the shit out of each other. I really, really do. And I'm actually looking forward to that. I can't believe I'm saying looking forward to a fucking Baron Corbin and Swagger match. I don't care if not a lot of people agree with me, or if they think, oh, that won't happen, you won't like it. If I don't like it, I'll come in and say, and I like being honest. Honesty here is, I like swag, I like Corbin sometimes. I kind of like it, and I think it could work. Poor Apollo Crews, though. That's one thing I don't like. Poor Apollo Crews. I can see him quitting. Maybe doing what Bertie done. That's what Bert Guerrero call him that. Bertie, obviously, he was in WCPW. I saw that on the What Culture gimmick. Really good debut, or re-debut on the Indies. Kurt Hawkins then has a Face the Facts video package. I thought he was meant to come last week. It said next week, and then he wasn't there. It just said Face the Facts Kurt Hawkins and nothing else. Is this guy ever going to debut? Like, is he debuting on dark matches or something? This is a little fun fact for you, in case some of you were just watching SmackDown Live. Sorry as I break your fucking mic there. The Cruiserweights, that being Rich Swann and Lince Dorado, had a match before main event. So WWE doing a great job with the Cruiserweights being exclusively to Monday Night Raw. Unbelievable. They did change the color of the ropes to purple, which is very interesting. Interesting to see if they do that before every Cruiserweight match on Raw and at the pay-per-view. We'll just have to find out on Sunday. Naomi and Nikki Bella then, they cut a promo. Naomi's talking about glowing and Natty being this bitter old veteran. Nikki then cuts a promo on Carmella. Simple but effective. And I'm going to get some live comments. And I don't know if we're going to have any. Not a lot of people know that we go live straight after the shows again. But I've got back into my groove. Sorry again about the noises at the beginning of the show with my mouth. I really didn't mean to, make the noises, but it's just I can't help it with this thing. Gary North comments. He puts win. Cena lost clean. I know I'm going to touch on that in the main event, and I actually enjoyed the main event a lot. Actually, that's a lie. I didn't particularly enjoy the main event a lot, but I was just in a good mood. Cena lost, and he lost clean. It may have been a roll-up, may not have been to a finisher, but Cena still did lose. So props, tilt the cap, give yourself a Dave Koco Barry Horowitz, because in the end of the day, John Cena lost. And John Cena, I'm going to touch on this later on, John Cena never, ever, 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 ever needs to win a wrestling match ever again. He could go winless. He could not win for another 5 years. It wouldn't make a difference. The guy's a made man. Then we had, dude, this was awesome, okay? So Renee's in Gorilla. She's interviewing Dolph Ziggler about the upcoming IC title match, and Dolph Ziggler calls Miz a scumbag, a coward, it gets really intense, cutting a promo, hyping himself up, and says, let's go out there and win this damn thing. Like, cutting a really good, intense promo. When Ziggler's intense, lots of people don't like him. They're not a fan of the shoutingness. But when I hear it, sometimes I can hear shouting, and sometimes I can hear passion, anger and passion, just mixed together for greatness. This is one of those promos. It was a right setting. They're not always in Stephanie McMahon's office. They're mixing the locations up, which makes it feel a bit more, again, I'm going to use this word, believable. And he cut a really good promo. I enjoyed this promo a lot. And then this led to the IC title match between The Miz and Dolph Ziggler, which I'm going to give the award of Match of the Night. A fucking title match, ladies and gentlemen, was on SmackDown Live. Let that sink in. This was not a non-title match like every single other fucking title matches on Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. And I'm hoping that they're going to change that. And SmackDown did a good job here of having an IC title match here, a World Championship match next week. Hopefully the time after that we get a tag title match or a women's title match. But then after next week's show, I think it's more heavy build for No Mercy. But I like how in between the gaps when Raw are having a pay-per-view, they have championship matches because it's like they actually want to get a good number. And I like that a lot. Big Fight Feel, which was really weird for a IC title match. And as simple as this, okay? When matches are promoted like this, and it was really heavily promoted, in my opinion. There was promos, there was fucking video clips hyping it. It makes a big deal, and it helps elevate the title. It helps elevate the wrestlers involved because it makes them seem a bit more important. So when you look at them, they're presented in a way that you care about. Look at this for an example. Eric Rowan. He's never promoted. He's never in big matches. He's presented in a really bad way, so when you look at him, you just don't care. When you see the IC title now, because it was so heavily promoted, because it's always on the show with The Miz, you kind of look in a different light. You kind of look at it like it's an important belt, and you actually want to see it defended. Now it's defended, and it's getting in-ring introductions. It's actually having a build. There's an actual storyline. I think good job whoever's writing this IC title feud. So The Miz does his Brian Yes kicks, which I think is absolutely hysterical, and they're must. Unless Miz is doing this because he's being told to, there must be a payoff. They surely can't be doing this without a payoff. Miz keep on doing this, yes, and an interaction backstage with Daniel Bryan earlier on the show that I just forgot to take notes on. There must be this payoff. And I've been sitting here for a few days now, just thinking what this payoff could be. What could this payoff be? Could we have a championship? Could we have an IC title match? Could we have a Brian Miz match? Could we have a cage match? Because it's a feud and feud enders are in a cage. Not like Kevin Owens and Reigns from last night. My God. I don't know. Unless Brian picks someone from NXT to represent him, or Brian just picks someone to represent him. Unless it could lead to a debut of someone. Maybe he could go, Miz, I'll make you a deal. At the pay-per-view, if you retain your IC championships against a challenger of my choosing, you will get to face me one-on-one. Okay, now everyone's going to be interested in that match because they want to see Daniel Bryan wrestle. But then have Samoa Joe come out. Samoa Joe make a SmackDown Live debut, obliviate Miz, win the match, win the IC title. And then you could go Samoa Joe babyface run. If you want, you could flip him and be heel. Have a babyface run, then flip him heel. But have him have a lengthy, and I mean lengthy, IC title run. And then you do Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, champion. At the Clash of Champions, for crying out loud. That could be a SmackDown event. Please do that. Please do that. Anyway, Ziggler, though, he needs to chill. He's taking these shoulder tackles or shoulder bumps into the LED boards now, and he took it twice really hard and looked nasty. Miz hit the running corner drop kicks like Daniel Bryan used to do. Miz tries to hit a double axe handle off the top, but Ziggler in midair hits a very, very nice drop kick. Miz hit this beautiful, and he's hitting this a lot recently. His new move in his repertoire. He slingshots him off the ropes and then hits a beautiful sit-down powerbomb. It really, really is nice. I'm a big fan of that. There's some good near falls, and the crowd are really into this. And I put this on my Twitter, and you can follow me on Twitter at LK Wrestling. I really did enjoy how into the matches the crowd were tonight. And I'm not just saying that because Sammy was there. There was a few times the crowd were dead, like during the women's match and during the opening segment, I thought, just a little bit, considering it was the opening segment. But I think the crowd were fucking into this, and it helped me a lot, especially during this match, because I was kind of on the, like, I want Ziggler to win, I want Miz to win, but because the crowd was so behind Ziggler and into the near fall so much, it twisted and turned my opinion into full-fledged want Dolph Ziggler to win. Ref catches Maurice trying to cheat. The ref kicks out Maurice. Ziggler zigzag for 2 for one of the fucking best near falls I've seen in a while. I thought that was it. Everyone in the crowd now is on their feet. Miz grabs the belt. He tries to run away. Ziggler stops him back in the ring. Miz basically throws the belt. The ref puts the belt, gives the belt back to the timekeeper. Miz then sprays something, I don't know what it is, like some spray gimmick, into Ziggler's eyes. He then hits the skull crushing finale to get the win. Really good IC title match. Miz, dude, the guy is phenomenal. You know, you told me this time last year. You tell me that The Miz, I would classify as one of the top WWE wrestlers at this time. I would have laughed at your face and laughed hard. But, legitimately, with my hand on my English heart, The Miz, in my opinion, this is my opinion, is one of the top 10 wrestlers in WWE right now. He's having great match after great match. He's making me care about Dolph Ziggler. I need you to say more. Really great stuff. And I advise everyone out there who hasn't watched SmackDown Live yet, give that match a watch, because it really was something. It was what the IC title was meant to be, you know, the workhorse's belt, the workhorse. And Miz won by cheating. And I said this yesterday on the Raw review. Bad guys cheat to win. What did The Miz do? He's a bad guy. He's a piece of shit. He cheated to win. It helps develop his character. Phenomenal stuff. Then we had Randy Orton versus Eric Rowan. Rowan's mask now is kind of like a fucked up clown. Does anyone know? Can someone put in the link in the description box? Randy Orton's jacket. This is like the 5th time I've said this in a row on the SmackDown Live reviews and the Backlash review, whatever fucking show Randy Orton's on. I love that jacket. Can someone put in the description a link to the Euroshop version of Randy Orton's jacket? Because it looks absolutely beautiful. Because, do you know why it looks beautiful? Because it's on the man who, if you built a sports entertainer from the ground up, you will get Randy Orton. JBL doesn't say that anymore. JBL does not say that anymore. Maybe I've said it so much that JBL just refuses to say it, or JBL hates me so much he just refuses to say it, or JBL just isn't getting told to say it. How about that? Rowan is presented as a joke. You know, if Rowan was built, I guess it's a good thing that Rowan wasn't built heavy, because he really did lose hard to Randy Orton. It's just, when the match was advertised, like, who cares? I mean, Eric Rowan, when was the last time the man got a win? Like, he's irrelevant. Like, he could lose his job today, and if it wasn't made official, would you actually notice? I don't think I would. He's just, I just didn't take this match seriously because the way Rowan's presented. And that's not the SmackDown fault. It's just the way he's always been presented. I mean, even Harper's presented, even Bray Wyatt's presented better than Eric Rowan. Crowd loved Orton here. Orton got the win with the RKO in very short fashion. The lights go out, lights come back on. The sheep mask is left laying on the canvas. Bray Wyatt, he's on the Tron. He cuts his usual cryptical style promo on Randy Orton about calling Bray Wyatt himself being a god and Randy Orton being a mortal man. Lights go out, and then we're promoting the women's tag team match. And I'm going to get some live comments here before I get down to breaking the remaining third of the show. Firstly, thank you for watching live right now. I'm going to get the old live comments up. Apologies to everyone from watching from the start for my voice. Just however, I am suffering a little bit of tonsillitis. I do apologize about that. I hope I'm okay. I hope I do improve. Gary North puts, I hope Rhino and Slater retain at No Mercy. So do I, but my gut instinct is that the Usos are going to win, and then we're going to get the Usos versus American Alpha for a few pay-per-views. But I hope they don't just, forget about Slater and Rhino. I hope they do something decent with Rhino and Slater, because they deserve it. I mean, you could have Rhino turn on Slater and say, "What? I was brought back to be a war machine. I am a war machine. You're nothing more than a ponce, and I want to beat your ass." Then you can sit there eating crackers. No. Naomi and Nikki then faced Carmella and Natalya. Now, if most of you, I hope, by now, watched my Monday Night Raw review, I broke my glasses, okay, during when Roman Reigns kicked out of Kevin Owens' pop-up powerbomb, because in my opinion, a finisher should be a finish of the match. Now, on Raw, we had kicking out finishes. On SmackDown, we had 3 kicking out finishes. This is what's left of my glasses. Look, one leg. That's all that's left. Okay, I've got some new ones coming on Thursday, so looking forward to looking at me looking slick in my new spectacles as I fucking dismember this office right now, as I fucking break everything. I'm just a ticking time bomb. Unbelievable. Shouldn't say that now. See, when 2016 should I worry about saying that? Unbelievable. So Naomi's entrance. I had no glasses on, okay? It really hurt my eyes. All the lights, it wasn't bad when she was, doing the dancing with just the no lights on and she's lit up. But when the lights came back on, it really hurt me. It really, really did hurt my eyes. It really, really did. Natalya applies a sharpshooter. Carmella pulls Nikki Bella out for some reason, even though Natalya is punishing her with the sharpshooter, nearly winning the match for her, nearly getting a win for her on SmackDown. They brawl. This causes, for some reason, a disqualification. Let me say this again. Natalya has the sharpshooter. The teams are Natalya and Carmella versus Nikki Bella and Natalya. Nikki Bella and Naomi, sorry. Natalya has Nikki Bella in her finisher, the sharpshooter. And Carmella pulls Nikki Bella out, who's getting punished by the sharpshooter, and brawls with her. That causes the ref to ring the bell and a DQ. Let that sink in. Unbelievable. I question the sanity of some of these writers. Like, this show was okay. It's just things like that really piss me off because it's so pathetic. Like, there could have been a million other ways how you could have done that. There really could have been. You could have just had Natalya apply the Nikki Bella, and then Naomi came. Naomi hit her finisher on fucking Natalya, got the win, roll up, or, Natalya could have cheated to get the win, maybe a roll up and had a foot on the rope or hand on the rope, or pulled the tights to get some heel heat, and then Carmella beat the shit out of a Nikki Bella. He could have done that. But it looked like a joke. And now I see them as a joke, and now I see this rivalry as a joke. But the best thing about this is Carmella didn't botch a super kick. We have a backstage interview with the man, AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, the champ that runs the camp. AJ talks about how he's just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy as Cena and Ambrose beat the shit out of each other. Speaking of that, main event, Cena and Ambrose, pay-per-view caliber main event for SmackDown Live. This is how much I guys, I really do apologize about that. I really am sorry, and I hope this is working. I lost my place. I'm just gonna check my phone, see if we're working. Come on, work. Please work. I really do apologize. That it does happen from time to time. I really can't help that. There we are. We're back live. I am really sorry. I genuinely, I didn't know. Sometimes the internet can be a bit of a dick. Apologies. We are back live with a SmackDown Live review. Pay-per-view caliber match here. Big match. John and Dean Ambrose was on. And I was just talking about Dean Ambrose and just how I just dislike him. Like, I don't dislike him as a person. Well, I might do. He just looks like a douche. Maybe I'm just annoyed because he's dating Renee Young. But I find it really aggravating that he says he's a lunatic fringe. He's meant to be this psychopathic nutcase when his offense is really simplistic, really dull, really boring, lame. You know, instead of dangerous Dean Ambrose from now on, I might call him dull Dean Ambrose because I just don't give a fuck about him. You know, match was okay. Cena hit an AA for 2. These people, and Ambrose hits the Dirty Deeds for 2. These people need to stop kicking out finishers because these finishers now, once they get hit, the crowd aren't going to pop because they know they're just going to kick out at 2. And it's, you know, back in the day, you know, when a wrestler kicked out of a finisher, that used to mean something. That used to be a holy shit moment. Like, remember, take your mind back to when Shawn Michaels kicked out of The Undertaker's Tombstone Pile Driver. You remember where you were when he kicked out. You're like, holy shit, and then Taker's expression helping the story just move along like, oh my god, I can't believe he kicked out. Now, it's like Cena hits the AS2. Okay, that cool. That means Ambrose now got his finisher for then Cena kick out, so they're then even Stevens. We're one apiece. And it's just like, who gives a fuck? Like, for real, who really does give a fuck? Unbelievable. Cena, though, goes for another AA. Ambrose slides down his back, rolls him up to get the win. Finally, Cena losing frequently. That is a good thing. And I touched on this earlier on this show. He never, ever, 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 ever needs to win a wrestling match again. He could lose the next 50 matches in a row, and Big Match John would still be over as fuck. AJ Styles come out. He hits the phenomenal forearm on Cena. So Cena got annihilated by Ambrose and AJ in the same night. He then goes in the ring, hits a Pele kick on Ambrose. Daniel Bryan comes out and says, last week, Shane McMahon, he announced that Ambrose would get his one-on-one rematch. And he announces that match will be next week. The crowd boo because obviously they want to see it tonight, but obviously time ran out. So Ambrose then hit the Dirty Deeds on AJ to then lead you to think, okay, Ambrose, could he be the new WWE World Champion next week against AJ? Because he looks strong against AJ. I like that. I like that a lot. Because it looks to me like they want the SmackDown numbers to be high. And it's effort. And I always talk about this a lot. I give Impact a lot of praise. Every Friday evening, when I do a TNA Impact Wrestling review, I always say they put effort in. And that's important, and that matters to me. And I think they did a great job here in putting effort in and building the stories and making me interested in these characters. I'm really hyped on The Miz at the minute. I'm interested to see where again, I touched on earlier on, there's questions that need to be answered. What's going on with Dolph Ziggler? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. What's he going to do next? Is he going to find a tag partner? What's he going to do? I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Ambrose and AJ next week. So overall, I give SmackDown a weak win - strong tie. But thanks everyone for watching. I'm going to get some live comments one more time just to see if we have any new ones. Again, I do apologize that the internet cut out. Every time, you know, it happens, I feel even worse. So here we go. Chauncey Bullock. Apologies if I just slaughtered your name. In comment time, ladies and gentlemen, it's loosey-goosey. It's not an intense review. I just did the review for the show for you guys. It's a bit more loosey-goosey, it's a bit more laid back, and I answer your questions. So, Chauncey Bullock. Jern on Matt Hardy. I don't know what that means, my friend. I do apologize. Gary North. I prefer SmackDown over Raw. The show just flows better. Raw drags on and on. I agree, Gary. Even with the Cruiserweight division added, I still just don't care. It's just too long. There's no thread in the show, whereas SmackDown Live is quick. You know, you have a tag division, you have a women's division, you have your main division, and you have an Intercontinental Championship division, and storylines progress. You get title matches. You know, you had a contract signing. Not everyone agrees, but I just enjoy SmackDown a lot better. Chauncey Bullock. Jeff Hardy turn heel on broken Matt Hardy? I haven't thought about that. I haven't really thought about that. I mean, this is AEW review, but why not touch on TNA? I don't think that. I think they shouldn't be heel because Matt Hardy was heel, Jeff Hardy was babyface. And the reason they did this is because it turned Matt Hardy babyface. Now you got the Hardy Boys back as babyfaces. I think they should just stick as babyfaces and have a lengthy tag team title run. Maybe at the end you could have Jeff Hardy turn on Matt Hardy, but I think they're just going to have one lengthy title run. Gary North puts, I agree, Joe should come in and bash The Miz. Not literally bash, but I think they should have a match for the Intercontinental title. And should be a way of culminating the Brian Miz with getting someone over, because that's the importance of wrestling, is keep getting people over, and I think could get Joe over, and then have him a lengthy 1 year monstrosity of a heel run with the IC title. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I apologize, about my throat. Tonsillitis is a little bitch. I hope I'm actually eligible for the NXT review tomorrow, because obviously I got my pack of Suvas here. Let's hope I can do it. There should be an NXT review live after NXT airs with Sammy Sinister. Also, still to come tonight, Sammy Sinister will review SmackDown Live, as he was at the building live, so stick around for that. Make sure you hit the subscribe button to know when we go live each and every single night. Like, comment, subscribe, buy Dave Koco's book, check out last week's Lucha review, check out last week's CWC review, check out last week's Backlash review, check out last week's Raw and SmackDown review, check out last week's Impact review. There's so much content for you to watch, so make sure you check all of that out. Like, comment, subscribe. From this Englishman who's very beaten up, very battered, and very bruised today, I'll be catching your asses down the line.